What's on my mind at the moment? Curlews. Plus, walking down South Bank, have a really nice breeze, and here I was thinking, you know, how fortunate, how appreciative, how absolutely amazing it is to be alive. To actually, you know, feel the wind as I'm walking on my skin, how fortunate, or how, I don't know, people say blessed, how, I don't know, just grateful I am that I have what I have. Now, doesn't mean to say that, you know, I live completely free of pain, trouble, drama, or whatever. Believe me, I don't. There's quite a few people to whom drama is everything, and they just try and impinge that on my life, and I'm like, no, dudes, go away. Some of them quite insultingly. Belligerent, snarky, you know, the people that do the hit and run thing of like making comments on your appearance and, you know, all sorts of other stuff. And then when they do, when you look at them, they go, don't look at me. It's like, well, obviously you want attention. And it's like, okay, so now you do or you don't want attention. I don't get that. Anyway, having been fortunate, even with all my aches and pains, and bearing in mind that there's a lot of people who every day, even just appreciating walking is a big thing, you know. Don't take anything for granted. The sun, the breeze, being able to breathe properly on your own, being able to walk, being able to feel pleasant sensations. There's actually some very rare conditions where people just touch is painful for them. Very rare, but there are people out there. It does happen. And just things like, you know, health, the people that I'm around, being grateful for that. The fact that, you know, despite the fact that I live pretty much every day in some form of pain, like actual physical pain, that quite grateful that I am alive and breathe, you know, have a job, have friends, you know, I have my own place, and you know, despite all the aches and pains and whatnot that go on, I'm in pretty good health in comparison to a lot of other people. And not to downplay that, but most of all, not to really feel guilty about that. You know, there's a lot of people out there that will try and make you feel guilty for what you have. If you've not earned it, like you basically you scam people for it. I'm like, dude, be grateful you didn't get caught, or you know, why are you scamming? But usually a lot of those people, their life is just crap anyway, and they just, life just happens to them, and they let it happen. And even though they think that they're actively doing stuff, their life is not quite what I would call kosher, I guess. I mean, despite the fact that, you know, I have a house that's small, I have a house, I have a place to live. I remember talking about success with some people. And for some people, it's highly centered around money. For a lot of people, money is power, appearances are everything. Yeah, I don't buy that. I guess that's the thing. For success for me, it's, are you living the life that you want? And are you happy living the life that you want? Good morning, Henrika. If not, what are the barriers you have? What's your attitude towards your life? I mean, if you're concentrating most of your life on living the way you want, belligerently, and just scamming things and people for it, what kind of life is that? If you're living a life honestly, helpfully and gratefully with other people, you know, that's a good life. Well, at least in my opinion. And for me, because I'm being honest and true to myself and living my life, not trying to scam other people for it, I don't think that I need to feel, well, I don't need to feel guilt over it. I do what I do in my own little way, trying to help those that I care about, help those around me. For example, I think I was talking with someone yesterday about the whole hair is on your mind. I love the tricorn, Kurt. I do, I love it. I was like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, there was a whole issue about, was it Chernobyl? Acid rain, pollution. Then going through high school and university, it was global warming. Now it's climate change. Guys, I hate to say this, it's all pretty much the same thing. And in all the decades that I've been alive, everyone, particularly those I think in Australia, are very aware of, you know, the whims of nature and how we live and the effect that we have. Battling that on a global scale, it doesn't really start off with that. It's when you kill off the little microclimates and environments. I mean, I don't think anybody really looks into ecosystems anymore. When I studied biology and geology and some of the basic things in high school, we talked about ecosystems, about microclimates and all that. And anyone who's a keen, dead-set gardener will tell you about microclimates and how it can really affect things, and how, you know, a small clump of plants can encourage more growth. Just look at the way couch grass spreads. I mean, seriously, the way nature finds a way to fill up things. Although there's quite a few people I know that are intent on being dirt farmers, but you know, that's just them. Anyway, random stuff on my mind. Being grateful. And hair. Why is hair on your mind, Kurt? I don't know. Anyway. Oh, Kurt. If you're in Australia, I think you are, we'll have to get together. I have some amber ale that I've made, but it's a bit too sweet for me. So, I don't know. Well, that was when I was bottling it. It was a bit sweet. Might be okay cold. I'll have to see. It might mellow out a bit. Don't know. But that's something I'm planning on. Because I like to brew beer. Yes, Henrika, I know microclimates are super important. And you can find them in unexpected places and to match the plants to the proper environments to encourage growth and healthy growth. It's the same, I think, with well, for me, it's the same as the environment. There's a lot of people concentrating on the big picture, like the global thing, but they don't know how important keeping a good microclimate is for the spreading of plants, for the health of the soil, which is what we're talking about. In high school, there's a whole huge thing about soil erosion, how we can, you know, let nature retake some of the land, how a lot of farmers, they keep massive nature strips in order to keep the soil erosion down so that, you know, the plants can keep growing there, like the grass and all that sort of stuff, you know. A lot of people say that farmers are the enemy of the environment. Like, no, they're not. They don't bulldoze down large tracts of land just to feed their cattle. A lot of them, if they had their druthers and if, you know, the whole Bradman scheme and they had dams and being able to, like, you know, semi-drought proof central, like, you know, bits of Australia, then they fully have nature strips and ways around near the waters, because they know that if they have plants growing around near the waterways, that keeps the climate there cool enough so that plants will grow more, so that when clouds come, the differing in pressure in there could encourage the clouds to actually come down and rain in those areas, thereby encouraging more plant growth, and so on and so forth. Yes, definitely big development there, Henrika. I don't know the solution to that. All I do know is that there are government legislations that are in place and they have to go through hoops, so maybe those legislations should be changed, but I don't know. I'd like to keep my little corner of the world green. Oh, I know, Henrika. Cottage lots is what they're calling it. 250 square meters, of which most of it is taken up by house. I don't know, $500,000 for that. Anyway, I prefer to have my land and lots of plants around. I'd rather have a small house than a big one. Anyway, that's all that's on my mind at the moment. I think I've blathered on enough. Being grateful for your health, what you have of it, being able to feel your friends, your family, plants. Rain, we had some rain. But yeah, anyway, catch you later, guys. See ya.